This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here today with my co-host Emily Campagno. Also joining us, Rachel Campos Duffy, Carissa Thompson, and Brian Kilmeade.
Woo!
Oh, it is on like
That's a great Monday.
Oh, it's going to be good, baby.
First time?
Your first time.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Congrats on your Chiefs.
Ooh, I got my Chiefs red on. Thank you,
Yes,
Carissa. It's a good day. It's a
To the
good
Super
day.
Bowl they go.
All right, let's talk border now, because now we have two borders to talk about. A staggering new numbers on the Biden border crisis. Customs and Border Patrol sources are telling Fox News that in the past 4 months alone, there have been nearly 300,000 gotaways, the ones we know about that the cameras and the sensors pick up. Plus, last week, agents told Fox News there have been more than 1.2 million gotaways since President Biden took office. That does not include all the ones that are in the country that we have no idea that they crept in. It's not only cities near the southern border, though, that are feeling the effects of all of it. Check out what happened in New York City last night. Okay, protests broke out when dozens of people refused to leave the Watson Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. The city is kicking them out and relocating them to the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal. Mayor Eric Adams has ordered construction of a temporary emergency shelter there for people who are in this country trying to stay here after crossing our southern border. Some of them told reporters conditions will be inhumane and there won't be enough food for them. So they want to leave the high-dollar hotel and go to a structure that the mayor is going to build for them. Brian.
It's outrageous. I think it's more to do with the fact that it's going to be all male. They're trying to break it up. Remember we saw 2 weeks ago? We saw sex in the hallways. We saw drinking and booze fest in the lobbies.
Well, we didn't see it.
Sounds like
Right.
college.
Right.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Right.
Report.
Some colleges, yeah.
As I've heard.
Yeah.
Brian, tell your friends to leave.
Right.
Brian's blushing.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I forgot what we were talking about. But I'm just saying, so they want to stop at the fraternity house, and they want to go to the Brooklyn campus for free, where they eat for free, where we also found out that 90% of the food that was brought into places like this hotel was tossed out because they didn't like it. So I cannot believe the audacity of somebody who would come to our country illegally, take a free bus ride to the #1 city in the country, and then decide that they're going to pick and choose the free accommodations that they're getting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Carissa, your thoughts?
Well, the question that I have is what now, right? If these numbers are unprecedented, right, and it's not just from the south, now it's at the northern border, when are there going to be enough hotels? When are there going to be enough accommodations? When is it going to end, right? So just looking at the illegal immigration part of it away from it, when does this end and what is the solution? I'm a solutions-oriented person, okay? If we've addressed this is the problem, how do we stop it when it's happening at an astronomical pace?
Well, you know, it's an interesting question to put to the White House. Their policies wouldn't dictate, Carissa, that there is an end to any of this. And that's troubling.
Which then becomes an issue of crime and issue of an economic, you know, there's a myriad of different issues here. But for me, if we're looking at these unprecedented numbers, I have to then immediately ask the question, when does it stop? And you're saying there isn't a known stop as of yet.
So you mentioned the northern border issue that we're having. So in the last 3 months or so, we've seen illegal immigrants crossing on our northern border with Canada, a number that's larger than what we saw over the last 2 years. I interviewed Senator Tom Cotton of the great state of Arkansas last hour, and here's what he said is the problem with being sandwiched between a northern border that's got that problem and a southern border that's got that problem.
This is a national security threat in addition to being a threat to our communities with crime and drugs and threatening the jobs of hardworking Americans. Joe Biden needs to take steps to close our border, to tell people not to come. If they do come, they'll be deported. And there certainly should not be any efforts at immigration reform in the Congress until immigration laws are changed to control our borders.
So, Rachel, what the senator also went on to say is that, you know, it doesn't matter which border this is coming from. Everybody's taking their cue from what we've done on the southern border.
Yeah. So it's interesting, Krista, you asked such a great question. When does this end? It's not going to, and this is completely intentional. This is operating exactly as it was planned. This is what the Biden administration does. This is how the NGOs, George Soros and those who are funding the NGOs, they're pressuring the Biden administration. Then the Biden administration takes our own tax dollars and pours it back into the NGOs. And it's this big circle of money that's funding this policy. I want to go to what you said, Brian, about, because you know I went and reported for Fox and Friends out at Randall's Island when they put up that makeshift
And then took it
tent.
down without putting anybody in it.
Exactly. So some of these migrants, as I was reading the article, were complaining that Randall's Island was horrible and they don't want to leave this hotel because they're going to get sent to this other terminal, wherever, this bus terminal, and they said it's going to be as bad as Randall's Island. Meanwhile, I interviewed homeless American, many of them veterans, who said, we wish we had the Randall's Island shelter. That's way better than what we have at our homeless shelters.
Or on the street.
Or on the streets. It's absolutely, we are not putting Americans first. This is absolutely insane. And by the way, yeah, you know what? Everything looks bad next to a really nice Midtown hotel. I'd like to stay there too. I don't think our Fox gives me as nice a hotel as
Oh my goodness, oh goodness. That's a different show. I have a quick follow-up for you though, because, you know, people are coming here and they're saying that they want asylum, which asylum is a very specific thing. I mean, when you look at the dissolution of government in Haiti when they assassinated their president a couple of years ago, I mean, but it's not about coming here and getting a better job. That is not asylum. So I'm wondering, what are they really leaving behind if they don't want the shelter that's been built for them? I'm not trying to sell it like it's fantastic, because I haven't been there. You have. You've seen it. How would you compare that with some of the things that people say that they left behind?
It's amazing compared to what if you are living in a village in Guatemala or Honduras, or if you're coming from Venezuela where people are eating their pets and zoo animals. I mean, this is paradise. But what's happened is, again, these NGOs have empowered and emboldened them to want more and more, and to understand that they're coming here means handouts. That's not the way immigration used to work. That's not how immigrant mentalities were a generation ago.
Emily.
Yeah, you know, just focusing back on the northern border for a moment, you know, it's a misnomer when people say, and now the droves are coming from Canada. You know, it's via. And that's illustrated. Remember, at the southern border, we had reports of over 150 countries represented by the millions of illegal immigrants flooding over the southern border. Canada is no different, illustrated horrifically by the fact that an entire Indian family froze to death in that terrain, as did a Haitian man. And we know that the Swanton sector saw, in just under 4 months, twice as many illegal immigrants as they had in the 2 years prior. And as the Border Patrol chief points out, you know, the risks are absorbed not only by the migrants who die under those atrocious conditions, as they do at the southern border too, at the hands of the transnational narco cartels and insidious extremist groups represented in the terrorist watch list apprehensions that we've undergone, but also by the Border Patrol. Right? And remember, Specialist Bishop Evans, you went to his memorial there at the southern border. He died in the Rio Grande trying to save migrants. The same is happening and will happen at the northern border. I wonder what the name will be of the soldier who dies trying to save someone at the northern border. And I have to point out, you know, every forward operating base, every FOB that we've been to in Iraq and the like, every fully operational military base, in foreign soil and here in this country, right? They have a boundary. They have a fortified boundary. So why is it that in our homeland, on our home soil, our borders, northern now and southern, are absolutely open? It's preposterous, and it's because of not only weak policies, but unfortunately our weak president.
Look, you bring up an excellent issue in all of that, and that is we better deal with it differently up north than we do down south, because we can't be sandwiched between this problem. We're already, every single state is a border state because of fentanyl.
Yes.
Like, that already existed. But what Senator Cotton said, and he sits on intelligence, armed services, and judiciary, those things all come together over this issue. In my estimation, you're going to need intelligence on all of this. And he said it is because of our national security that's under pressure. So we've got to deal differently now with what we're doing if we're going to have to take it for those 150 plus countries in 2 different locations. And why wouldn't they put pressure in 2 different locations? Right? It was cold down in El Paso just a few days ago. Remember the silver blankets?
Yes.
I mean, snow, ice, it's winter, and they still come. We usually see the numbers cut back. not this year. That's policy.
Yes, and he made that point too, that, then it's a distraction. The intelligence community having to now deal with the northern and southern borders of our open door policy means that they are then taking resources away from focusing on other areas of grave concern post-Afghanistan.
It's a strategy.
Exit, et cetera.
You punch Arizona and you flood the human
Trafficking
via the cartels in Texas, and you've got 2 points. Now they have another point.
Yeah, and don't forget, we're also emboldening and empowering cartels, and that's destabilizing Mexico. So we're creating all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.